Hello and welcome to another Black Friday inspiration video where we are taking our crafty stash, any crafty bargains that we may have picked up this weekend, and more importantly sharing some inspiration and having a play. So whatever you're crafting with, do pull out your crafty stash and let's craft along together. So this bundle is the button bundle. We have gorgeous buttoned beauty stamps. These girls are just stunning and they have gorgeous, very fashionable outfits and with buttons and gorgeous accessories. They're really fun to play with. They're ones that I get out lots, so excited that these are going to be on offer. We also have the MDF bobbin kit, which I thought went really well because they're button flowers. Now this kit has actually got 3 flowers in it, so there's only one displayed on the picture, but in this actual bundle you get 3 bobbins, and I was thinking, like, with the girls alongside them, they could look absolutely lush. And then finally we have an embellishment kit here, and in it we've got little sewing machines, we have buttons, tape measure, little handmade with love charm as well. So all of that is going to be in this bundle, but without further ado, let's have a play. So these are some images that I had previously coloured when reviewing the colour cube. That video's not quite yet made it to my channel, not quite finished with the editing and whatnot, so it's a little sneak peek of what may be to come in the future. So I have coloured up those images already and I'm going to make cards based on them. So for the first one, I've taken the button stamp and stamped down the length of the card, and then I'm just adding a few extra doodles to make it a little bit more interesting, and then colouring this up with some lilac Copic markers. I'm not sure what it is about the side angle of my camera that makes it really washed out, but we'll go back and forth so you get the idea. This is a colour combo that I would definitely not have come up with on my own, so I am liking branching out and doing something a little bit different. I'm now filling in those little elements with a silver pencil as well, just to tie in all the colours from the main image. And then to make the card just a little bit different, I thought I would cut away the edge so that we have a shaped card. So this is a really easy technique, and we're kind of almost gonna, it's not quite a 1-layer card, but we're going for a fairly let's say non-detailed card, not built up, not mixed media and 3D. Not quite finding the words, but the fact that you've got that fancy edge, it does make a difference. So I decided to add a little bit of this Victorian velvet. The idea was that it was going to give a nice soft hint of colour, but look at that, got a great big spot, that's horrific, so that had to go. So we just chopped that off and pretended that it never happened, just neatened it up a little bit, and there we go. Not thrilled. So now I decided to take a different direction, and because it just looked very inky, I decided to stamp a little bit of a sentiment in the background just to add a little bit more detail. Now I wanted to make the embellishments out of these little flowers that come in the set. So what I tend to do is, once I've coloured them in, is cut right into the petals and cut along and go into the centre piece. And what that does is it just gives you a bit more movement to manipulate the petals, which means you can get a nice 3D shaped flower like so. So I am using my glue and sticking everything down. So we've popped the flowers down, and then the little buttons that came in that little extra embellishment kit, I'm just sticking them into the centre of the flower like so, adding a doodly border and some dangles because, well, you kind of expect that from me now, isn't it? It's just, it is what it is. Giving her a little bit of grounding for her to stand on, and then finally I am adding a sentiment which says, "Be yourself, you look beautiful," like that. So I stamp that out and cut it down. And then once I try and put it on the card, well, yeah, I just decided to knock back the whiteness, but yeah, it just wasn't, I couldn't find it where it looked good. So we just had to readjust the idea a little bit, and I cut into the sentiment and broke it up and put it across like that. So that is the card with the first girl done, but we have a second girl. So I am going similar. This time I am working on a separate piece of card, which I will then mat onto the main card. I've used this sort of solid button stamp and some orange ink pad. and I am just sort of randomly stamping. Well, I say randomly, I am randomly stamping, but deliberately choosing to stamp randomly in 3 separate areas so that we can draw the eye in. And I'm using the same technique, using a text sentiment stamp as a background stamp, just to build up the background. This time we have reached for the spiced marmalade distressing, and I go a lot more lightly this time. I learnt from my first experience and decided not to make a big mess of the card. And then grounding as always. So that is the sort of mainstay of the card. I've just decided to add a little bit more details. These little button dangles, I decided that they would look quite cool as funky flowers. So I just sort of stamped that in. If you're hearing a little bell ringing in the background, it's not that I've captured Tinkerbell. My cat is in the room with me and she's having a little wash and her bell's just ting-a-linging, aren't you? Yes. So then I have stamped out the buttons to overlay on the areas that I stamped it out so that we've got a flower, and then I stamped out some of the other, sorry, I'm just tearing her, some of the other little flowers as well, and colouring them all up. Even though it's a small little detail, I still like to do it with 3 different shades and tones. And like we did in the first card, we are just fussy cutting these out so that, as I said, we can then use them as embellishments. This is what I love about stamps, is you can just, especially all the little extras like that, don't discount it. They can become embellishments, which is cool. So we're just sticking the lady down, and then this is what I mean. We've kind of got the stalks and things from the original stamping, and now I am just sort of adding the actual coloured detail on top, and then arranging the little flowers at the bottom. I kind of moved them around a few different times to kind of see what fits, see what suits, and eventually I decide to go for a little cluster in the corner. Once again, we have the doodly border just to finish it off, and then I add the sentiment that comes in the stamp set: sparkle, shine and smile. And because of the sentiment, I decided to add a bit more sparkle with the sparkle pens. So I hope you have enjoyed that and gained a little bit of inspiration. All the details are in the description box. If you would like to see more in this Black Friday series, you can check out this video right here.